So what is the definition of a conflict? Well, a conflict tends to be a disagreement, a quarrel, an argument between two sets of people or people within the same group, or two individuals, or it could be an inner conflict. So, where we find, we often find ourselves wanting two things that are seen to be opposite, like we can't have them, like quality time and money. So we might say, oh, I want more money, but then I'll have to work more. Or I want more quality time, but then my salary will go down, or my profits will go down. So it seems like we can't have both. And there are ways to have both, but we won't talk about that in this video. So conflict is also about all the body language and the voice qualities and our thoughts that go with them as well. So for instance, often when we're in conflict, we experience a fight-flight reaction where we either can be very aggressive, or so perhaps blame, point a finger, shout, stand in somebody's space, stop them finishing their answers, all those sorts of things. Or on the opposite side, we might sulk, give them the silent treatment, placate them, cry, do all those sorts of runaway type things. And those reactions were very useful to us when we're earlier on in our civilization, because those fight-flight responses kept us alive for a long, long time. And they were very appropriate when we were hunting woolly mammoths, for instance, and if we were in a tribe and we came across a woolly mammoth, and if we had lots of tribespeople around and lots of weapons, then we would turn and fight it. And if we were on our own and we didn't have any weapons, we'd probably run away or play dead. And so that's how we stayed alive, and it was very good. But now we have those reactions in modern day challenges, which are not appropriate. They don't get us anywhere, or they can make things even worse. So for instance, that's where road rage, if we get fed up with the way somebody else is driving and we yell at them, or we compete with them or something, it can cause an accident. And if we have a difference of opinion at work and we start to use those fight-flight responses, then we can start arguing about the way we're arguing. Don't you shout at me like that, or come back here, I haven't finished talking to you yet. So we need to find better ways to deal with that fight-flight reaction. Conflict is also caused by our thought patterns. So for example, if we see somebody who jumps the queue, they get, we're in the supermarket and they get into the queue in front of us. Do you say, oh, do you think, oh, what a terrible person, they shouldn't do that, who do they think they are, and you really get angry about it? Or do you, such as a fight response and a fight thought, or you might say, oh, just wait till I can give them a piece of my mind? Or do you do the flight response and you think, oh no, now I'm going to be late, should I say something, or should I just let it go, and all those sorts of things. So you might do a flight thing in your head, or you might do an assertive thing in your head, which is often the best way, and that is to think, they look a bit distracted, maybe they don't realize what they're doing, I wonder what's going on for them, are they okay? And that might lead you then to be curious and say something like, I noticed you jumped the queue, did you realize? And perhaps that leads to a productive conversation. So when we're in conflict, we just need to manage our thought patterns and our physical reactions and turn them into something more positive. Now, people who lack confidence often find that they avoid conflict and in order to avoid trouble. But what happens is, not only do they feel more upset by the situation because it's not being dealt with, but it will harm the relationship if those feelings persist. Some people who hate conflict actually deal with it in an aggressive way, and you think, how can they say that? How can they say they don't like conflict and yet yell? Surely that will make more conflict. But actually, they do that from hating conflict as much as people who avoid it by being silent. And that's really useful to know, because then you can start a dialogue and say, well, okay, so how can we deal with this in a different way? Perhaps get a win-win, get the best out of each other. So conflict is around having a difference of opinion about way something should be done, about how something's being done, about what should happen, about a person and their way of being. Those can all be sources of conflict, and we can have fight reactions or flight reactions, or we can have something in the middle called assertive reactions. And if you can develop assertive reactions, you can start to smooth out conflict in a way that makes everything, makes the solutions much better. So if you're facing a lot of conflict in your life, either at work or at home, then I'd like to offer you a free discovery session where we can talk about those areas, what causes more conflict, what triggers them off, what's happening as a result, and also any hidden barriers to resolving those conflicts. And then we can also have a look at, well, how would you like those relationships to be, those working and personal relationships? And I can show you how I can help you to bridge the gap between the conflict and assertive resolution. And that conversation will be free. And we'll talk about next steps and so on, and so that you can make the future much better, free of that conflict, and able to get the best out of yourself and others. And the fantastic thing about that is not only do your relationships improve, but also all sorts of opportunities open up as a result, especially through your work. When you're able to deal with those situations, not many people are, and if you're able to, there's a lot of reward that can come from dealing with them really skillfully and confidently. So if you'd like to book one of those sessions, just go to my website, buildingselfconfidence.co.uk. I also have another website, successfulmanagers.co.uk, and you can get in touch with me and suggest some times and dates you'd like to meet. And I look forward to talking to you.